Hello, my name is Jay. Welcome back to my Tech Vault, and today I'm going to be showing you a bunch of gifts for $35 or less that you can get for any gamer out there. So I've got all the bases covered. I've got consoles, I've got phones, I've got laptops or desktops. So I'm going to pretty much go through and give you guys a full list of this. So first off, I'm just going to start off by saying that people really do appreciate just a plain out gift card for Xbox, Steam, whatever. So I honestly gotta say that if you're really not too sure about what to get them, if they don't have this or if they do have this, then I would just recommend that. But these are really in-depth, detailed gifts that I really think show that you know what you're talking about and show that you really put a lot of work into finding them. So I think that these would be better if they already have some gifts and you really want to make sure that they have something that they really will use. This would be the option. A lot of these actually aren't actually $35. They may be like $10, some of these, but also there are some that are $35. So really it's actually around like $20 to $10 what most of these are. So I'm going to be starting out from the bottom going up. I understand that most of my viewers are from a computer-centered channel, but since this video is more geared to everybody, since the majority of people also watch this on mobile, I figured that we will start out from the bottom of mobile, then consoles, and then we'll go to desktops. I also, for the desktops or PCs, I also have a lot more. I've separated into laptops versus desktops, and I also put some little bit more detail in there as well. So that way the mobile gamers and the console gamers can have kind of what they're looking for first, and then we can go towards the people that really want to go in depth in the PCs. So let's get started on mobile gamers. So a couple things. First off, basically the general consensus is that if you have a keyboard, all that stuff, that's a little bit, I guess, specific to the phone. I've tried to keep this pretty general. So this is joysticks. These are little joysticks that you can have that pretty much go on your screen, and what they do is they pretty much allow you to have a little bit better control of what's going on, so that way you can move around a little bit better. And this also prevents the joysticks from, or when you're playing the games, it also prevents the joysticks from moving around as well. Some games will have it wherever you press will start the joystick. This basically stops that. It basically gives you a pretty good advantage in the games, and I think that a lot of people do really appreciate it, actually having some tactile feedback for when they move around. They can actually feel the joystick instead of having no idea. It makes it a little bit more of an easier experience. Also, let's go to a controller grip, and actually I'm going to start removing these. Let's go to the controller grip. So this basically is a grip. Now, a lot of the problem with the phones is that it's not really a perfect grip on your screen. I don't even have my phone on me, but it's not really a perfect grip when you're holding your phone. And actually, here it is. Why not? So it's not really a perfect grip. You have, it's an odd angle. So what this does is it pretty much gives you a little bit more of a controller grip. It makes things a little bit easier as well and feels a little bit better. A little bit ergonomic, I guess is the right way to say it. I'm not the best at English. But also, this one is also a really good one. 180-degree charging cable. Now, I believe this one, I'm not sure, is for Android. I really doesn't say. Fast USB-C type charger. So yes, this would be for Android. But for the most part, I'll update this list, which will be in the description, with, of course, a Apple version. But what this does is it pretty much makes it so that when you have your charging cable, it's not in your hand. You're not holding around it when you're trying to charge your phone. This pretty much keeps it kind of, I guess, ergonomic too. Ergonomic, forget it. So it just keeps it so it's comfortable. Makes things a little bit easier when you're gaming as well. For the mobile gamers, I think that's a really good idea as well. And then the top triggers are basically things that go on the top of the phone, as you can see here, that allow you to click around. So when you're playing your games and you're shooting somebody, this allows you to have those extra feedback as well. It means you don't have to move your fingers around as much, and between that you have a really, really good advantage for people. You can also get a couple of these since they're not really cheap, or they're not really expensive. So $8, you could really get like 3 of these and make someone's day a lot better, and make them a lot better at playing video games too. And also we have a controller mount. Let's see, click on this. So this is kind of the same concept as before, only instead of having a little controller that's kind of built into the phone, this one allows it kind of for more of a screen. It kind of turns it like into what the DS was like. So this was a little bit more like that. Obviously it's not really a DS because there's no screen at the bottom, but you get the general idea. It's a little bit more of two kind of handles, I guess, or two parts. So there's that. Let's move up to console gamers. So the first thing I want to talk about is, controller grips. These are the things that basically make it so that instead of the controller getting all sweaty and stuff, it gives a little bit more air room. So I'm going to show you the Nintendo Switch one just because I think this is a little bit better. So kind of that same idea as the phone. You kind of get a little bit better grip on the controller itself, especially when you have them separated. This really means that you have a really big something to hold on to, and it's not such an awkward angle that you can really focus on hitting the buttons. It makes things a little bit better and feel a little bit nicer as well. So then we've also got some joystick grips, and these are what goes on the joysticks on the controller, and so that way you have a little bit more height. You can adjust, well, obviously with these you have a couple more options for height, but you can really adjust how, I guess, tactile the controller grips are, or the joysticks are. So this really makes a little bit, some people like these as a difference. It makes them a little bit taller so you can get them a little bit easier, especially for small hands. It works really good. And then we've also got some decals. Decals are really nice as well. This is in particular just for the PS4, but these go on the little LED light that's on the back of the controller. This means that you can have a couple options to make things look kind of cool. I think it'd be a little cool little neat thing to do. And then also this is an Xbox to PC adapter. So sometimes people don't get into playing on the computer, which does have its own separate set of advantages. Sometimes people don't get into it just because they want to play on the computer, but they really don't have the skill set. This basically means that this is a little USB adapter that you can take the controller from the Xbox and then put it, basically make it work on your PC. So people that want to play games like Minecraft on their PC but really can't, or don't have the skill set to use the keyboard, they can just put this in and then use the controller that they're used to. It's a cool little gift if that's something they're into. And then also a microphone. Since most consoles don't come with a microphone, this is a pretty kind of professional little microphone. Nothing really special about it, but it does have a long cable, and I thought that I'd show it to you because it does. I mean, everyone needs a microphone if you're going to play on a console. Or actually, anyone needs a microphone if you're going to game at all. So that would be for console gamers. And now we're going to move more into the for desktop and laptop gamers. I'm going to start on the laptop gamers, and then we're going to move to desktop gamers. Because desktop gamers, I have a lot of in-depth, very specific caveats that need to be met. So I'm going to start by making it less, or increasing in the complexity of this, I guess. So let's start with laptop gamers. So as I said, going off that same thing, microphones are important. This one's a little bit more expensive, but it also has a little bit more options. It's got a little bit of volume. It's also can mute, which is really something important for especially when you really need high quality when you're getting into the desktop kind of scene or PC gaming scene. But this is just a microphone. Everyone needs a microphone. You're not going to really need to argue with that. Microphones are important. Laptop cooler. This is something that's more, I guess, dependent. A lot of problems with, I guess, some things to point out. First off, laptop coolers are really sometimes helpful because depending on the design of the laptop, it can help pull heat out and help assist the fans with dispersing the heat in the laptop. This is also good for people that have really hot laptops and they don't want to put them on their lap because they get hot. This kind of puts a little bit of a layer in between them. This also has some RGB lights, which I think is also kind of cool. And honestly, I think that it does look pretty cool. Just keep in mind that sometimes, depending on the style of your laptop, if the laptop really gets baking, this can add a little bit of layer in between, and also it can help dissipate that heat a little bit faster, so it may actually even run a little bit faster. Next up, let's do headphones. Headphones are kind of really nice because especially for laptop gamers, you don't really need to be loud and screaming into your mic. You kind of want just something that's over your head, headphones, and you also have the optional mic there as well. This really gives you a nice little option of course, being able to hear a game, which is important. I would say headphones are probably one of the most important parts of gaming just because people do not, especially when you're playing with other people online, they don't want to have that feedback from your microphone and then the speakers coming out of it. They kind of want it all enclosed in one system, so they just hear your voice and you just hear them. Let's also go over here, and then a wireless gaming mouse. I figured since if you're playing on a console, or not a console, playing on a laptop, you're going to want that ability to take up something and leave it, or just throw it in your bag. You don't want to have to deal with all the tangled wires, so this is what this is for. It's rechargeable. I thought it looked very cool. It definitely looks pretty cool in my opinion, and it's also got some pretty good reviews, so I'm not too worried there. So that is the mouse. So now let's go over to the RGB lights for laptops. Now this is a little bit more specific, but these basically are just stick-on lights that plug into the USB, then you can control them through a remote. Now if you really want something that's really bright and flashy, then you can put these on your laptop and make them look a lot more flashy. I think that some people really enjoy these. Some people that may not have a really, flamboyant gaming laptop, I think this would be a better option. Moving on to desktop gamers, you've also got an extra option for those people that waited through this entire video. So we got an extra option for you. So starting off, we've got something that's very specific, and we're just going to jump right into it. I've got USB 3.0, I guess an extra add-on slot. This should basically be the smallest, I think it's PCIe X1. This basically should fit in almost any desktop that has an extra slot. This will also basically allow you to have an M.2 drive in there, 2 USB 3.0s, which means that you have Oculus or Oculus support. You have all those kinds of, I guess, the modern hardware, and then you also have a USB-C, which also is important, and also becoming quite modern as well. Next up, you've got a gaming mouse. I have one, not the same brand, but I have one over here. I've actually tried to stay away from brands that I have any affiliation with, just to kind of give you an honest opinion there. But for this, it's pretty much the same thing. It's got the little RGB on the side. You can pretty much change the colors, etc. It looks nice, high quality, good ratings, no issues here. So now to a 5-pack of addressable RGB fans. This is what I'm getting my brother, my younger brother actually. So don't tell him, but that's what I'm getting him. And I think this is just really nice because it includes, I think, a little controller, and then you also get yourself a lot of RGB fans, and they're actually pretty cheap as well. So this basically means that anyone's computer can go from looking okay to really nice and really flashy as well. And then we've got a 256 gig SSD. This can be really good for putting games on. This actually runs right up into the $35 range, but it's a really good brand, and also it's really good for people that play games because you can load your games a lot faster. It takes a lot less time. You can get more gaming in for the shorter amount of time. So let's just go over here. And also, the SSD actually ends up helping run performance better, or getting better performance too, just because things don't take as long to load. You get higher frame rates, etc., which I've actually found. This is also a really good one. Some people want to, you can really see a good example here. The RGB lights are on RAM is actually really expensive. It's like an additional $30 option for RAM. So this is basically only, what, $17, and you can put the RGB lights on there and control them directly through the motherboard. This means that you can get some really cool effects without having to, of course, break the bank to get these RGB effects. I really like it. It looks really good, and I would actually like this for myself. And then also the RGB lights and hub for inside of a desktop. This one's very much more specific, but sometimes the edge of a desktop, they'll put the lights in. This basically adds to the effect. It's also a really high quality one because you have a hub, which allows you to add more lights to it. Basically means that you can make a case look a lot better than it normally would otherwise. So that is going to conclude the little bit of showcase of some ideas you can get people. I will include this Google Doc down in the description so you can go through, check them out, click on stuff, buy stuff, whatever. And that way you can kind of figure out if there's something down here on this list you want to get. You can just click right here, order it, and you're done. There's your holiday shopping. But I just wanted to make this video because I feel like a lot of people just think that you go out there and get them a gift card and that's it. Well, this really helps you get something that's a little bit more specific to, what they're interested in. If gaming's a hobby, this will really make their day. So thank you guys very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.